I want to start off today's show talking about the local real estate statistics. We talk about them every month. We've been talking about both Tampa and Sarasota. We opened our Sarasota office in 2015 at 7430 North Tamiami Trail. So we're not just talking the Tampa stats anymore, we're also talking about Sarasota. The very first thing I noticed about the greater Tampa stats, 1,768 home sales in January 16. That compares with 1,728 from January 15. Average sale price of $215,853 for Tampa in January of 16, and $195,288 last year. So year over year increase of about 20 grand, about 8% for an increase on the average sale price. Median home price as well up. Interestingly, inventory was up for the first time in several months to 4.1 months of inventory from a low last month of 2.9 months. So part of that inventory increase is an increase or is actually a decrease in the number of sales. So all the people that put their homes on the market in November and December, it kind of saturates that inventory number a little bit. We're still hovering really low, around 3 months of inventory. So again, an average sale price in Tampa of $209, $222, and $188 last year.
Kind of wonder what's going to unlock the inventory.
I think that we're starting to see that now, the pickup in the spring market. You're starting to see, buyers get excited because interest rates are going up, prices have gone up. So I'm hopeful we'll start to see that trend, improve. 3 months inventory is a drastic seller's market, though. And, buyers get frustrated, like we talked about on the show many times.
Yeah.
Buyers get frustrated and they jump out of the market. Sarasota stats as well. So, one other thing that I noticed, and we're starting to see this trend too. The luxury market's starting to get oversaturated again. So we had a pretty healthy market above $1 million in 2015, but we're starting to see less of them sell. I saw some articles this week about that too. People that are buying second luxury and vacation homes, you're seeing a lot less of them doing that here. So we're seeing a little bit more luxury homes hit the market and not selling. So that's starting to happen as well. The Sarasota stats, comparable to Tampa in terms of some of the year-over-year differentials. But for the month of January, Sarasota County experienced a slight 1.2% rise from last year in total sales at 520 sales. Condos were down 5.2%. In Manatee, single-family homes were down 5.4% from last year to 385 sales, but condo sales rose. So year-over-year, Manatee not as good as Sarasota County. Robust increases in price across both counties. Single-family homes rose 21.3% in Sarasota County to $230,500, and they climbed 10% to $274,900 in Manatee. So condo prices also similarly up 17.8% in Sarasota County and 6.3%.
Is that for the month or for the year?
That's year over year, from January of last year to January. Because it's hard to compare. A lot of times when I'm talking the statistics, I don't really talk about month over month increases, especially when you go from like a December to a January, because there's so many seasonal things that can impact the market. So comparing what we do in 1 month, especially when you cross over from December to January, because December is usually a really good real estate month and January is usually a bad real estate month. So we like to look at the year over year stats. We'll go ahead and post those up on our Facebook page.
That's a huge increase though. 20.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting when you look at, across Tampa Bay, we saw similar. We've got a 20 grand increase, and down there they've got a, not quite as substantial of an increase in the average sale price, but nonetheless it's a big growth, and I think that's one of the things I talked about. I was interviewed by the Tampa Bay Times a couple weeks ago talking about home prices, and one of the things I thought that was important was discussing, how the election is going to impact real estate, how prices may rise this year, but we may not have as many sales. And part of the reason we won't have as many sales is because people, unfortunately, in real estate, it's very emotional. So you have people jump off on the sidelines and they're afraid of change and they're afraid of all the things that are happening in the world that they decide not to buy. They're like, I'm going to wait until after the election to buy. And then one thing could happen. Maybe they lose a job, maybe they get a pay cut, maybe they don't end up buying. So them waiting could domino effect into a lot of transactions not happening.
Why do you think people want to wait for an election to do anything?
You know, it's
That's kind of.
it is. It doesn't make, to me, it makes absolutely no
Planned
sense.
Parenthood is not going to affect your.
No,
real
it's
estate.
not. It's not. It's not. You know, and in reality, who's elected president is going to have such an. I mean, could it have a trickle down effect over a several year period on real estate?
Yeah.
Sure, depending on who's elected, which party.
Yeah.
You know, we could have a whole show dedicated to here's what happens if Trump gets elected, or here's what happens if Hillary or Bernie gets elected. We could have a whole show about that. But the reality is that the 1 year impact on someone being elected is so negligible, but it's emotional.
Yeah.
People, unfortunately, are motivated by that. It's the same thing you see happen in stocks sometimes. You'll see a stock just get killed in a day, and it's maybe because their CEO said something, or that in reality isn't going to have any impact on their business, but it's an emotional decision that people
So
say, oh, I'm going to
every
jump out
time
of
there's
that.
an election, every time there's presidential, I hear all the conspiracy theories.